If you've been waiting for the Utah housing market to cool off, I have some news, and it may not be what you want to hear. Salt Lake County homes just hit their highest price ever recorded, and it happened while mortgage rates are still elevated, while inventory is actually going up, and while everyone online keeps telling you the market is crashing. So which is it? Is Utah real estate booming, crashing, or something in between? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's going on in your neighborhood and what it means, whether you're buying, selling, or just curious about your home's value. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm a real estate agent right here in Salt Lake County, and every quarter I break down the freshest data from the Salt Lake Board of Realtors so that you don't have to go reading through all the spreadsheets. The report just dropped that covers the second quarter of 2026. That would be April through June, and there is a lot to unpack. New record highs, a couple of zip codes that you may never have heard of, and some real divergence happening between neighboring counties. So let's start with the headline number. The median price for a single-family home in Salt Lake County hit $645,000 in quarter two of 2026. That's up almost 5% from a year ago, and it's the highest quarterly median ever recorded in the history of Salt Lake County. Now, before you panic or celebrate, depending on which side of the buying-selling fence that you currently are on, let's talk about why this is happening. Because it's not just prices go up. There's a real story behind the data. 2,334 homes sold in Salt Lake County this quarter. That's up about 4.6% over this time last year. So we're not just seeing prices climb, we're seeing more people actually closing deals. And that combination of rising sales volume and rising prices is a strong signal of durable demand. Not speculation, not a fluke quarter. People are actually out there competing for homes, and they're winning at higher price points. Now let's talk about where the real money is going, because the top 5 zip codes might just surprise you. Number 1, and it's not particularly close, is Alpine. With the zip code 84004, the median home price in Alpine reached $1.55 million. Second is Huntsville, which is up in the mountains near Pineview Reservoir. It hit an average of $1.36 million. Next up is right next door, Eden, which hit an average of $1.34 million. Fourth is Immigration Canyon, tucked right up against the east benches of Salt Lake City. It came in at $990,000. And fifth is the Avenues, with one of the most historic and walkable neighborhoods in all of Salt Lake City. It came in around $956,000. Do you notice a pattern here? 3 of the top 5 are mountain or canyon communities: Alpine, Huntsville, and Eden. And that tells you something pretty important, that buyers with serious purchasing power aren't just chasing city convenience anymore. They're paying a premium for space, privacy, and access to the outdoors. So if you own a property in one of these areas, these are the things that you're going to want to bring up at your next appraisal or your next listing conversation. So what's happening with the current inventory and the days on market? So this is where it starts to get interesting, and it's also the part that most headlines will skip. New listings over all housing types in Salt Lake County rose 3.56% year over year. That means buyers actually have more options now than they did a year ago. And more options on the market usually cools prices down. But that's not what's happening here. Demand is simply outpacing that added supply. But at the same time, homes are actually taking slightly longer to sell. Average days on market went from 45 days to 48 days. Now that's a small shift, just 3 days, but it tells us that the market isn't as frantic as it was back during the pandemic years. Buyers are taking a bit more time. They're being a little bit more selective, and I'm certainly seeing that with my clients in my business. They're also doing their homework, which is a good thing. They're not just buying the first thing that looks nice, but they're still buying. This is a market that has matured, not one that's stalling out. Now let's talk about condos, because this is actually the most fascinating part of this entire report. Condo sales in Salt Lake County jumped 4.11%. That's 862 units sold over just 828 a year ago. But here's the twist. The average condo price actually fell 2.8%, dropping from $430,000 down to $417,000. So more condos are actually selling, but for less money. So what does that tell us? It tells us that buyers who are priced out of the single-family home and townhome market are pivoting hard towards condos as their entry point. And sellers in turn are pricing more competitively to move that inventory. So here's a number that really puts things into perspective. As a countrywide median, the average condo sold for $227,000 less than a single-family home. That gap is the affordability escape hatch that a lot of first-time homebuyers are using right now. If homeownership seems out of reach for a single-family home, a condo might be your realistic starting point. And it's clearly where a lot of buyers are heading, which in my opinion isn't such a bad thing. My first property was a little condo in Midvale. It was 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1,100 square feet. I bought it back in 2008, right before the housing crash. And I was incredibly excited to buy that condo. I love that place. I was able to go in, I got it for a good deal. I remodeled it. I changed out the flooring, the lighting, I painted the whole thing. It was great. And I got it for a good affordable price at the time. So sometimes I do feel like first-time buyers need to temper their expectations a little bit and know that they may need to start with something like a condo to start building equity and work towards something bigger and better down the road. So Salt Lake County is just one piece of the Wasatch Front story. So let's zoom out and take a look at what's happening at some of the other counties around Salt Lake, because the picture is genuinely mixed. Davis County actually saw single-family home sales dip, down 2.76% to just 744 homes. And the median price dropped 1.57% to $568,000. But condos told a different story there as well. Condo sales dropped nearly 15%, but the median price of condos actually rose nearly 2% to $416,000. Tooele County had the largest jump in sales volume of any county on the list. Single-family sales rose 7.24% to 326 homes, but the median price actually declined slightly, down to $487,000. More buyers, lower prices. That's a county where affordability is still winning out. Utah County actually stayed pretty flat. Sales ticked up less than 1% to 1,650 homes, while the median price dipped slightly to $600,000. Condos, though, saw a steep 22.5% drop in sales, even though prices stayed basically even. Weber County saw fewer single-family home sales, down 4.42%, but prices still climbed 3.11% to $499,000. And condos moved in the opposite direction. Sales rose slightly, while prices actually dipped just a little bit. So here's the big takeaway from all 5 counties. Salt Lake County is the clear standout. It's the only county in this report that's posting both rising sales volume and sales prices. Everywhere else, you're seeing some type of a trade-off. More sales but lower prices, or higher prices but less sales. Salt Lake County is bucking that trend entirely. So let's bring this all the way home. What does this mean if you're watching this video and actually thinking of buying or selling a home? If you're a seller in Salt Lake County, especially in a single-family home, this is genuinely one of the strongest positions that you could be in. Record prices, healthy demand, and sales volume that's still growing. That said, don't get too overconfident. 48 days on market means pricing your home correctly out of the gate still matters more than ever. Overpriced listings are the ones that tend to sit. If you're a buyer, especially a first-time home buyer, you'll want to pay close attention to the condo data. With single-family home prices climbing to record highs, condos are becoming the more realistic and increasingly more popular entry point in this market. And if you're just watching this because you might be curious at what your home's value is right now, this is the exact moment to find out. Market conditions like this don't last forever, and knowing your number today puts you in control of your next move, whenever you decide to make it. If you live in Salt Lake County or any of the surrounding areas, and you'd like to know the true value of your home, feel free to reach out. I'll put my information in the description below. I'd be happy to provide you with a free, no obligation home value report so that you know where you stand. So that's the full picture of what's happening in Salt Lake County as well as the surrounding counties in Q2 of 2026. Record prices in Salt Lake County, a maturing but still strong market, and a widening gap between what's happening here and what's happening in surrounding counties. If you found this breakdown helpful at all, consider hitting the like button and maybe subscribing. I'll be posting a video every single week related to Utah real estate market, and I hope you'll join me. And if you're thinking about buying or selling a home anywhere along the Wasatch Front, feel free to reach out. Again, I'll put my info in the description below. I would genuinely love to help you navigate this market. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.